Hi guys, Romans here and welcome to another music review. Similarly to the Stevie Hart's second album review, this one is going to be straight to the point, so without self-promoting myself as I usually do. So this is a review of the debut album from Peter Uher called New Reality. Let's roll the intro.
Music review. Music review.
Peter Uher, or Peter Uher, is a Slovak guitar player. He's also a teacher of music and he is mostly interested in like ambient and jazz music, which he kind of combines on this record. And he does that also with a lot of like pedal effects. So this is kind of how we got to know each other. And it's all kind of interconnected because actually Nicola Banco, who was the saxophone player on my first album, when he recorded his first song, Peter was actually the guitar player on that track. And Nico also plays saxophone on one of the tracks on this record. And Peter also had a band called Inside Group, which was his previous band. He released 2 albums with them, and the drummer from that band ended up drumming on my second album, which I will release sometime early next year. So it's, you know, all kind of interconnected. So anyway, even the title of this album, New Reality, kind of points towards this being a new chapter. He's no longer the frontman of a band. He's a solo artist. This album came out sometime in like June, if I remember correctly, and I was actually listening to it a lot back then. I was preparing myself to make a review, but there were just so many records I didn't make a review for at that time because I was too busy with my second album. So anyway, I've heard the album 9 times. Let's dive right into the review. The opening track, Mirror Door, that he shot a music video for, is this groovy, jazzy song with a very seductive atmosphere. It's got really interesting rhythm, and I would say this is one of the more heavy tracks on the album, if I can call it that way. I would kind of welcome more tracks like that. The only downside of it is that it ends too soon. It's like 2.5 minutes long, and you know, kind of towards the end of the track, I always feel like it's really going somewhere, and I really like where it's going, and then just out of nowhere it stops. And I wouldn't mind if this track was longer, and I mean a lot longer. Look Ahead is a more relaxing and airy track, and the trumpet really leads the song. And you know, I'm so used to hearing saxophone with various pedal effects and so on, but the trumpet works perfectly as well, and this track is a pretty great example of that. The mood is again very immersive, and I like that it shows the other side of the record, much more of an ambient side. And it's kind of like you've got these groovy jazzy parts going on and these ambient parts, and it's like there are 2 maybe not necessarily similar worlds that kind of come together on this record, and I think it really works very well. The third track is yet again a completely different track. It's called What Will Be Tomorrow, and this is one of the 2 songs where we basically hear just Peter on a guitar, and it's based on a loop. And there are many looper pedals, but he's using Blooper from Chase Bliss Audio, and that looper pedal is very unique for how much you can actually tamper with the loop and how much you can change it beyond recognition. And that's basically what the song is based on. You hear the loops and he kind of plays all over it. The title track, New Reality, seems to kind of cover what the first 2 songs were about. Similarly to Look Ahead, this is much more of that like ambient jazz territory. And then it transforms into this groovy acid song. But we also get a very nice atmospheric part. Vivians Dream is another jazzy, ambient, and very emotional piece where we mostly hear just Peter on guitar and of course Nicola Banco on saxophone. And this is a very melody-based song, meaning that it's much more melodic than most of the stuff on the album, so this will probably end up being one of the most recognizable moments upon the first couple of listenings. Another track recently is very imaginative, and I like the strong soundscapes it builds, and also the rhythm section supports it perfectly. The longest track on the album is Reverse, which is almost 10 minutes long, and even though I've been kind of talking about Peter a lot and he's really a brilliant guitar player, I do have to say that the other two musicians, the drummer and the bass player, are absolutely top-notch as well, and you can kind of appreciate that among other tracks here as well. At one moment, the song transforms from a playful part into like a trippy one. And we even get a tasty bass solo in this track. The album ends with a short, loop-based, overlayered, and very moody piece called Epilogue. To be completely honest with you, this is not necessarily a music I listen to a lot, and similarly to when I reviewed Nicola Banco's debut album Bright Future, I had kind of a limited vocabulary as to describe my opinion and about the record and kind of to talk about it, because I don't really listen to jazz at all. I don't really like jazz, but I like when there are elements of it. And this record is very unique in that it's combining that very trippy, groovy, jazzy world with like ambient world of soundscapes and atmospheres and moods, and I don't really think I've ever heard anything quite like this. Yet again, I don't really listen to this type of a music, but I think it made for a very interesting experience because you have these brilliant musicians, but sound is a very big focus of the record. So Peter is definitely a great guitar player. I really love how melodic he gets from time to time, that he really focuses on the melody rather than on just noodling around at times, of course. And I'm really looking forward to whatever he comes next, because the pool of inspiration in his case is pretty big, so the second album can just be something totally different. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it, and you should too, so check him out. Have you heard this record already? You can let me know in the comment section below whether you agreed or disagreed with me. If you haven't heard it yet, then do that and come back later, you know, and write your opinion after a couple of listenings. You can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram. You can find links to both in the description of this video below. Also, if you like this review, don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe. You can check out my own original music, my live performances, my worst to best series, and quite a lot of other reviews as well. Thanks a lot for watching.